So you got that right. I love returns. And I'm going to tell you why on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin Ain't Easy. And yeah, this isn't clickbait. I do love returns, and I'll tell you why. For me, it's a sign of success. If you sell absolutely 0 items, you will get no returns. If you sell a few items, you're only going to get a few returns. And if you sell a lot of items, something's wrong if you're not getting more returns. So now, that's not to say I want my return percentage to go up. Nobody wants that, because if you get in the very high return ratio, where you're among the highest in your category, then that's going to cost you an additional 5% on your eBay final value fees for items that you list in that category. eBay wants to see that you have low return rates in each category that you list in. If I have a high return percentage, let's say in coffee makers, then every item that I sell in this category is going to be billed to me at a 5% higher final value fee over and above what they already take from us. So the goal here is to make sure that your return rates are not high. Nobody wants that. So if I'm receiving more returns this year than I did last year, and I'm not increasing my return percentage, that means I'm doing what? I'm experiencing more sales than I did last year. And that's really why we're all out here in the first place, is so that we can increase our sales. And so I know that I've increased my sales year over year as compared to last year. You guys know I had a pretty bad year last year and didn't really get a lot of traction. This year was better. This Q4 was better. Like you, my sales are dying down. My Christmas shoppers are not buying. I just had, I'll show you here, my last batch of stuff that hopefully will make it out before Christmas. Certainly, I hope the customer's not banking on that, but we had, 16 items to ship this weekend, which was a slow weekend, but that's just on my store. Jenna had another 6 on hers. And, you know, again, you get a lot of these last minute shoppers that want to buy, you know, last minute, and hopefully they're not too hard on me when they find that their item doesn't arrive in time. A lot of these people are across the country, so that's pretty tough. But, you know, back to the topic of returns. You know, I sell a lot of different items. I sell, as you saw in my last video, we sell items that are in various conditions, anywhere from for parts of repair to brand new. I list a lot of items in different conditions, and you're going to get the customer who will assume, because you take nice quality photos, that the item is something different than what they thought it was, because they're not looking at your condition and item description. And that in itself causes returns. I am in the high category in a few of the categories that I sell in, because you get a lot of those kind of buyers. And I think I've found ways to taper down the number of returns in that, like your parts of repair category, having that little banner stating for parts of repair in the gallery picture. I think I have not had one return or complaint since doing that with those kind of items. So just finding ways to assist the customer in not making the mistake in buying the wrong item. So, you know, we're still trying to find ways to keep the returns down, but the fact that you're getting more returns now could be that you're doing nothing wrong. It could be that you're successful and you're actually making more sales. You know, look at all the merchandise that a lot of us buyers of liquidation receive just from Amazon. Now, Amazon, of course, they're a very successful company. I think they make most of their money with analytics than they do with Amazon merchandise. But still, it's not Amazon. I mean, Amazon wouldn't be in place if they weren't making a profit. And, you know, they get a lot of returns. They get a ton of returns. There's just so many returns. You got truckloads after truckloads after warehouses full of customer returns. And you can't get those returns unless you're successful at making the initial sale. And so I just want, you know, get a lot of these comments from you guys stating that, you know, I got a return, or I even see some comments where people say, I don't accept returns. And, you know, eBay is going to force you, we already talked about that a number of times on this channel, eBay is going to force you to take that return no matter how much you like it or not. But the fact is, you need to instill buyer confidence in your items. And if you have a no return policy, that buyer is going to think, hey, what's up here? You know, I do well with my sales. I do not have a free return policy because I know how people change their mind often, and I don't want to be on the hook for that expense times whatever amount of change your mind customers come my way. You guys know I currently use the buyer pays for returns model. The whole returns idea is the cost of doing business. If your margins are where they need to be, returns shouldn't hurt you that bad. Now, they suck. Let's say you sell, you know, a $100 item. You think everything's fine with it. You ship it off, and then they balk at you about, you know, they thought it had this feature. You represented it being this color. I want to return it. And, you know, maybe you spent $10, $20 to ship that item. Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're even at a 5% returns ratio, you sold another 19 items that there wasn't a return for. And, you know, my thing is I'm operating at the high 5% rate. The goal, of course, is to get that down. I'm not encouraging anyone to return my items by any means. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people, you know, saying they have no returns and they shouldn't have to take returns and that type of thing. But whenever you're in the retail business, unless you're selling out of your garage through Craigslist or Marketplace or OfferUp and all that stuff, generally you're gonna have returns. And I think you have to be able to stomach that, especially for those of you who are newer to this business. You have to stomach that to get through, because there's been many times that, you know, I get that nasty customer that not only wants to open a return, but wants to send that nasty message. And I've shared that with you guys on a number of occasions. And for someone that cares, like I care, it bothers me. And I want to do better. I don't want my customer to be upset at the fact that, you know, they thought it was this or it didn't work. Maybe my limited testing, like I said, I do a lot of testing on these items, but I'm not going to go through and make an espresso when I list this item. I'm not going to make an espresso for myself. Number one, I don't have the coffee. I don't drink coffee. But again, if I spend 30, 40 minutes on this item just to test all the features that it might have, I'm not gonna get my stuff done. So I will accept the fact that I have higher returns because I don't personally own these devices to know if there is maybe this feature isn't working properly versus all the other features are fine. But because I didn't disclose that maybe the frother isn't frothy enough when you're making your espresso, I'm just going to take that return. And that's just kind of my business model. With returns, you have to understand, you know, if you're dealing with customer returns or reselling customer returns, you have to understand that there's a reason why people send their items back into Amazon, Walmart, Target to get their money back. Now, we hope when we buy these goods that the majority of these items are changed mind, didn't like the color, maybe never used it or didn't find the use. Sometimes we buy things we think we're going to use and we just don't use them and they sit in our closet. So maybe, you know, our thought process is sort of optimistic. We're buying these loads and we're hopeful that the goods we get are great and we don't have to deal with returns. But if you're banking on that when you're buying this merchandise, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because returns are going to happen. You know, there's just no way possible for you as a reseller of customer return liquidation is going to be able to catch all the flaws that may exist in these items that caused the initial return in the first place. So I embrace returns. Going on now my 3rd year of doing reselling full-time. I don't allow returns to get to me the way they used to. I mean, they try. These customers do try to get to you, but you gotta find a way to just move on. It's a business. It's no different when you worked your 9 to 5 and you had that disgruntled customer about something. You handled it. You dealt with the situation, and later that night you moved on and you thought of it as, this is just my job, and you took care of the situation. And this is no different when you're dealing with a customer who's not happy with your item. Now, of course, as we know, what your opinion is on an item is going to be different than your customer's opinion. And if that means you're on the hook for the return shipping label, you have to accept the return and then remedy the situation when you get the item back. And I know there's some of you who take that refund tool and deduct the return shipping, even though eBay doesn't want you to do that. I do that on a case-by-case basis, and it's very rare. But one thing's for sure, if you're sending an item back to me and you're using the wrong reason to return an item, you're not getting your original shipping back from me. That's for sure. You know, I might be on the hook for the return label, but you're not going to get me for the outbound shipping. That's for darn sure. So I got a question for you guys, and that is, a lot of your buyers buy early when it comes to Christmas shopping. I know they did that this year. There's a lot of people that bought in late October, early November. You know, I guess a lot of these reports where there's not going to be a lot of merchandise on the shelves. So get your Christmas shopping in early. So they go on, they buy your item on eBay, and they give that gift come this Saturday, Christmas the 25th. And for whatever reason, they got the wrong size, they got the wrong color, they just don't like it, or maybe there's an issue with it. They're going to be well beyond your 30-day or eBay's recommended 30-day return window. So as a seller on eBay, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to accept returns that are beyond 30 days? I can tell you what I'm going to do, but I'd like for you to put your comments down below. I'm interested in seeing how you're going to handle any return requests you receive from someone who bought their Christmas gifts in October or November, or even earlier than that, wanting you to make it right. I can tell you this. As a seller on eBay, I wouldn't even have 30-day returns unless eBay required me to, and they do. So if it was 14 days, I'd be happy with that, and that would be my return policy. But since it's not, 30 days is where I'm at. And with 30 days, I stick to 30 days. So if you're buying an item for someone, it is in your best interest to check the item, make sure it is what you bought, plug it in, make sure it functions, because most of the stuff I sell is open boxed anyway. It's not going to kill you as a buyer to open up the box, because it's open anyway, plug it in, and to make sure it functions in the way it was intended to. So guys, yeah, I want to know what your take is on that 30-day return policy. If your buyer wants to return it well beyond 30 days because it was a Christmas gift. Please put that information down below. So do me a favor, like I always ask you, hit that like button. That helps the channel and the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of conversation. And of course, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I make a video or go live. Change your mindset when it comes to returns. They don't have to be all bad. In fact, it's a sign that your business is doing well. because you're making sales in the first place. And if we change that mindset, it's going to make your desire to come out here, wherever that might be, whether it's your garage, your work area, wherever that is, it's going to make that desire to come out and list these items a little bit better. You're going to be more productive as a result, and you're not going to feel so bad about maybe the prospects of this being a good business model because you got 2 or 3 returns. And they usually come in spurts. When it rains, it pours, and you can say the same thing about returns. I don't even like thinking about returns sometimes, because the moment I put that thought in my head, here comes a return request. But you know what? I'm not going to let that bother me as it used to, and I haven't been lately, and I think I've felt better because of it, even after getting a return. So get past that, embrace returns, turn off your no return policy. I'm telling you guys, it may deter your honest buyers from opening a return case with you, but that 20 to 30% is adamant about returning your item. They don't care if you have a no return policy. They're going to contact eBay and or put a false Aint ad on you, and it's just not worth the headache. So whether you accept returns or not, and by now you should, whether you embrace returns or not, it all points to one thing, that flipping ain't easy. And we're going to talk to you guys here very soon. Have a great rest of your week.